Happy Wednesday. Today we are live backstage. My guest, I can't wait to introduce to you. But first of all, my name is Cindy Rowe with Cindy Rowe Marketing, and I do this weekly Facebook Live show to introduce you to new business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, and just talk shop about why we're in business. So welcome, Hans. How are you?
Welcome. I'm doing very well. Thank you, Cindy.
I'm glad we coordinated with the hats.
Yeah, hat day.
It's definitely a hat day for sure.
August 17th.
Yeah. Hans, all right. So I know you because you just recently married one of my really good friends, and you recently started a business. What business is it that you have?
The business that I have is called Handy Hans LLC, and Hans is my first name. So wanted to try to get something that was catchy that went with my name. And what I do is remodeling and repairs, pretty much anything you can think of, except maybe a couple things that I won't do, like roofing is probably something that I'm not, unless it's like a short repair of some type. But it's just things like that, things that homeowners usually they think they can do, but they just don't have the time to do it. So they hire and I try
Or they
to
probably shouldn't do.
Yeah, right.
So you're covering people that can't do it themselves or probably shouldn't do it themselves in the
Right.
home repairs.
Right. Or they just don't have the tools or whatever it is. But, they've got projects, or some people, I've had a couple now where people have started ripping apart their bathroom and they're like, I don't think I can do this. So then they call me. It's just like the TV shows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're all good. You think you've YouTubed it enough that you can handle it. And
Yeah.
then when the wall comes down, you're like, oh crap.
Yeah. Well, what's that stuff behind there? I don't know what that is. Yeah.
I love that. So tell me how you got started or why you decided to start this business. It is fairly new, so congratulations on taking the
Thank
leap
you.
into entrepreneurship.
Thank you.
Hands off to you. I love it. So tell me, why did you start?
Well, I started because I retired from teaching 30 years, and I needed something to keep me busy, and this is something that I really love doing. And what better way to still feel young, so I can do a lot of things yet, and I've been. I don't want to use the word dabbling, but I've been intensely dabbling in like home improvement, and I've been a DIYer for as long as I can remember, and so is my brother-in-law, and we've done all kinds of things together, and we've built a house together. So yeah, I thought it was probably just a natural progression. I have an awesome set of tools. I'm like, why not do that? I mean, it's almost like no startup cost to get it going. So I'm like, the only thing I need is customers. So that's where you come in.
I was going to say, I wonder how that can happen.
Yeah.
So interesting. You retired from teaching. Kudos to you for teaching that long, especially how much the teaching world, I'm sure, changed over those years.
Yes.
And so did you teach shop or something hands-on or?
Well, hands-on, I was a PE teacher. So yeah,
Okay.
so we just in our feet and our legs and our arms and everything. So yeah, I mean, I've kept myself in pretty good shape over the years. So I think that I can do most things. I can still do most things. I can bend to get on my knees, and my hips and knees and arms still work. So yeah, why not? I can use this for my next gig.
Awesome. So PE teacher to small business owner. Tell me, was it always a vision or dream of yours, or did this kind of pop up when you started getting closer to retirement? I'm always curious on because as a child, I played, business owner
Okay.
in my room. So I've always had this dream or vision that I wanted to own my own company, but I'm finding with these interviews that that's not the case for everybody. So I would love to hear your story on that.
Yes. I would say that I um, probably it was more wondering if I had another career, what would it be? And I thought about, construction and doing this. So if I would have started younger, let's say if I would have started 20 years sooner doing this, I probably would have grown it into employees and doing something a little bit more lucrative and more grandiose, I guess is a word. Uh, bigger scale type of thing. If I was, but now I'm just happy. I'm just content with it just being me and doing my own thing and helping people. And mostly, I find that this is also a connection that I can make to helping people with the problems that they have. And so yeah,
I like that because that's a very similar mindset that you have as a teacher, right?
yeah,
Helping others with problems and just you having that kind of heart and mentality will certainly benefit you in the business world for
yeah.
sure. Did you teach young, middle school, high schoolers, all of the above?
The majority of it was grade school and middle school. So I did stints of both equally over the 30 years. And I coached high school sports, coached middle school sports. So it's got a good range of things. I'm also a retired Army officer. I retired as a major in the U.S. Army Reserve. Did that for 25 years. Did a couple stints on active duty. Yada yada yada. So
Well,
yeah, I
that's
got those.
impressive, and thank you very much for your service.
Thank
So,
you.
being a veteran-owned small business owner, do you feel like that gives you a little bit more credibility or trust factor, or just haven't found that yet?
I no, I feel the trust factor comes in with actually meeting people and being personable. Either how you approach them with um, social media, email, on the phone, all those things, and then in person, how you are, um, whether or not you're on time. All of those things, I think, speak volumes as to
Yeah.
how the rest of it's gonna go. Just being respectful, cleaning up after yourself. Um, but just being personal, polite. I don't know. There's so little of that going on nowadays. It's I guess I just want to be genuine and how I usually am in my regular life. I don't know.
I love it because, well, one of the things we talk about is being authentic, right?
Mhm.
And that's really the gist of what you're saying is I'm going to be me talking to you on the phone and I'm going to be the same me when I show up to your door to do your work. And if you see me out
Yeah,
and about, you're going to get that same me. So being
yeah.
authentic. Um, I have well, I had a question. Now it just escaped me. You were talking about the sorry, see, you just never know what's going to happen, and that my brain just decided not to work, but I remember it now. You were talking about having people like show up and whatnot, and I kid you not, today there was two Facebook posts from my personal friends that said that they've reached out to contractors, several contractors, and nobody has, one, returned their phone call, or two, show up like they were supposed to, or three, come to complete the job that they were hired to do. That blew my mind. Two today. Like, and that was just what I saw, right? Because we know how Facebook works.
Yeah.
You can see everybody's. But how does that make you feel?
Um, It makes it's I feel sorry for the people who are getting ghosted. I mean, because I guess that's what it is, right? It's getting
Right.
ghost. It's so easy for people to ghost people nowadays. Um, just uh, just being there for people, I think is just a big. It's a big deal. I mean, being a me and being a follower of Christ, I put a little bit more weight into the relationships that I start to create with other people, and and actually too, the thing is you gotta show up. I mean, there's just so much of that going on now where people are just ghosting people, and they're just um uh you
Well,
want
it's
to call
definitely
it
easy
just
to hide.
yeah, it's easier to hide and you know uh, um just to dismiss people. It's easier to dismiss people quicker. It is. I don't know if it's because of the technology and people feel like they're able to do it because of that, and then it
Hmm.
translates into their actual personal real face-to-face life, or what it is. But it's just getting kind of bad, and I want to be the opposite of that, you know.
Yeah. I'm just curious if people are just like if they're too busy, like why do they even have that open opportunity? Like if you're too busy, tell me. If you're not interested in the job, tell me. Like this is and for some people, especially what they're hiring you to do, it needs to be done, right? It's not something that they want
Yeah.
sitting around, especially like in the case that you said, they've opened up the walls of their bathroom, and realized that this is a bigger job than they can handle. Like,
Hmm.
all right, if you can't handle this job or you're not interested, just let me know so I can find somebody else. So, and I just feel like our world makes it so easy to, as you said, dismiss it. I wanted to talk a little bit because you mentioned it, the follower of Christ, and so I had the pleasure of creating your logo. And one of the things that you wanted was a representation of the cross, and I loved that thought and that concept. So share with the viewers a little bit about why that was important to you to have it within your logo.
Yes. So I don't know if the logo is available for people to see, but it's two H's uh, side by side. So then in the middle, what you have is you have a cross brace, or the cross, and we've kind of arranged it that way on purpose. The the thing is that as being a teacher, I just kind of felt as things were going along, I just didn't feel like I was making an impact on um, on progressing God's kingdom. And I'm like, well, whatever I'm going to do in my next job, which I didn't know what it was going to be, I really want to do that. So um, I decided that as um, part of the ministry, that in this job that I'm doing now, as I'm completing work for people, at the end of the job, I'm giving them the option to either pray with me or let me pray for them uh, in private, however they want that, to pray for something personal or just general blessing over their home and family. Or over the work that I've done, because maybe this needs a blessing. I don't know. Um, so uh, and doing these things, and I've gotten an overwhelmingly positive response about it, and I just it was an idea that I kind of got from one of our pastors um, at church, and I just took it and ran with it to tailor my needs and that. And some people say no, thank you, but I said that's okay. I'm still going to pray for you anyway. You're still going to get it. But and just on the back of my business card, it says I can do all things through Christ that gives me strength. And sometimes I need to remind myself of that as I'm doing something.
Yeah.
Either I'm getting tired, or I'm starting to get irritated about something, or something's just not going right. And um, God always is faithful. He always comes through, and I'm able to complete everything, usually according to what I estimated for time. I'm getting better at estimating time. But that's the one thing I just got to build in my enough time, and try to be honest with people how long I think it's going to take, and also be honest, hey, if it's going to take longer, I may have to charge you more. So, and yeah.
Yeah. Well, so I've been in business for 6 years, and the timing thing still gets me every now and then.
Yeah.
So it's always a learning process. And I feel like similarly, like a job that I might do compared to a job like you do, we're always learning something, whether it's about ourselves or about our business or about how we can improve something, or taking something from that, taking a lesson. I truly believe that every project that I'm on, I learn something, and I try to take it positively. Sometimes that's harder than others, but that's everything's not going to go smoothly all the time, and sometimes, yeah, we miss. Miss the time frame, I guess is what I was trying to say. So it ends up costing either us or the customer a little bit more. But
Yeah.
so the other fun part about this, not only have you retired, but you moved states. So, and then you started your business.
Yeah.
So you're a newbie to Illinois, and now you have to start a business, and now you have to build a community and a network. I imagine that's pretty number one, scary, and number two, hard. So, how have you gone about reaching out to people in this area, your new home, to let them know what it is you do when they don't even know that you've been a community member? So, how have you done that?
Well, a couple different ways. Um, while Lori and I were married, we got married in October. So since then, um, we we lived apart until the beginning of June. So beginning of June, I moved down here, and I probably started my first job at around the end of June. So we knew it was going to be kind of a transition period, which is fine for me because summer is usually when I have off anyway, and I'm used to just um, coming up with alternative sources of income, right? Either with doing jobs, or picking up an odd job, or playing in the band and stuff like that. So from that time in October, we started slowly getting the tools together that we needed for the business to get everything established. It's just you're building your website. You got to get your name. You register your name um, with the state and all that. And we reached out to a small business development in Sauk. Is it Sauk County? Is that where it is, or Saukville, or I don't know. It's northwest of here. And the lady that was there was very helpful in what we needed to do to get started. So then started handing out business cards to people that we knew. Lori had already a big network of friends, so she was able to start blasting out, "Hey, Hans is ready to take on business. Um, Friends of yours, you also put it out
Mm-hmm.
that I was ready to start taking business. People from church that I started talking to, they said, "Let me know when you move down here because I've got all kinds of stuff for you to do." And so it was just like every moment that I came down to visit, there was some kind of a connection that I made, where where somebody needed something. I gave them a business card, and it's just like, so I haven't been calling anybody. They've just been calling me.
Wonderful.
God has been keeping his promises uh, um, about giving me work. So it's just been a lot of it. A lot of it's been faith, just letting God take care of it, and um, let the work come to me, and that's been really good. So Facebook, the business cards, face to face with people, those kinds of things, those connections have made the most impact so far. Other than that, I really haven't done any advertising. Um, so I'm thinking about other things like, possibly a different vehicle, maybe getting a big magnet for the door on the side that has my logo and
Mhm.
name on it, all that kind of things. But I'm just kind of rolling with it right now. So
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing that you can do right now, and you have been doing, is letting people know you're in business and what you can help them do.
yeah,
I mean that sounds kind of basic and simple, but if people don't know, then they don't know. So it's like just letting everybody know. And the way, Lori has helped get the word out too, like, hey,
yeah.
he's in business, he's ready for you, type of thing. That's right now until you build up that referral base, because that probably is where it's going. The money's going to be there. When you've done
Hmm.
a great job for somebody, how we ask on Facebook for all of our friends to chime in for somebody special that we need, that's how you're going to get the word out too. So you mentioned you were in the band, so why don't you talk a little bit about the band that you're part of?
Yeah, so the band is called the Water Street Jacks. We were formerly named just the Jacks, but we had to change it because there was a band out in California that reached out to us and said, "Hey, you guys got to change your name." We're like, "Okay, whatever." So the name of the Jacks was a shortened title for Jack of all trades, because that's kind of what it was. Our band was made up of, a bunch of guys that were just like me. We doing all kinds, didn't do just one thing. We're not just educators, but we do all these other things. So the Jacks was it. So then the name Water Street came from, that was one of the venues that we got our start at, was on Water Street in Sauk Prairie, because it's a Wisconsin-based band. And Water Street is a name that most people can identify with, because there's a Water Street typically in most towns, either on a river or on a lake. So Water Street Jacks, and we've been together for 8 years. We're all educators. We've grown from a 4-piece band to a 5-piece band. We have acoustic guitar lead singer, mandolin player. He also plays electric guitar, drums. That's me. A bass player and a keyboard player. And we champion ourselves on having 4-part harmonies, and it's really powerful music, powerful singing. But we're an Americana band, so if you like, and a lot of people don't know what that is. Americana is probably you can most identify with bands like John Denver, John Prine, which is kind of like your solo guys. But then there are bands like the Eagles, I would say, are kind of Americana-ish, and so is Tom Petty, and those kinds of bands. But we are more influenced by bands like Mumford and Sons and the Avett Brothers, because those two bands are just hot right now, and the Lumineers, also Head and the Heart. Just to give you an idea, we cover all those bands, and we also do some old favorites like Amy, by the I can't say it, Pure Prairie League, and um, Marshall Tucker Band, Can't You See? Uh, those are like some of the songs that most people will recognize. But half of our songs are original. We
Oh,
are
awesome.
going in the studio this fall to record an album. So, and it's long overdue. We really need to do that. But it's just, time is our most valuable resource. It
Yeah.
just is. We just could not fit this in. It's tough when you got families and you got work and careers and everything, and you're also gigging and we'll finally get it done.
And I mean, you had just a small gig this summer, and I believe last summer too at Summerfest, right?
Yes, we
Which
that's a
is a
little,
pretty big deal, I would
yeah.
assume.
These are some opportunities that we got to play at Summerfest. At the Miller Lite stage, we've done 3 years in a row now. I think it's kind of an established relationship. I think because the committee and the people that work on the stage really like us. Every time we come back, they're just like, "Oh man, we love you guys," and we're like, "Okay," you know, and we're a little intimidated because we have this, this thing that it's technically this the hearsay is that the sound system that they have on that stage is like the best in the world, they say. And well, it's Miller Lite, they can afford it, right? It's like, why doubt them? I mean, it's for the size that it is. And I've seen some bands there, and I believe them because it's like super loud, but it's also super clear too. It's not distorted, but it's like loud, so good loud that you just can't believe it. But anyway, a little advertising for the Miller Lite stage at Summerfest. But yeah, and every year we've gotten better and better time slots, so something's happening there. So it's a good thing. So we're just trying to work on getting a show down here in Rockford, since I live down here now, and the guys are excited to play down here because I tell them, that it's different. People in states other than Wisconsin, their first priority is they want to go out and they want to see a band. That's why they are there.
Yes.
So, and then maybe having a drink or a cocktail is secondary to that. We're in Wisconsin,
Right.
the opposite. So, not that that's bad for Wisconsin, but I mean, Wisconsin's great. But,
It is a given, though. I mean,
yeah.
we're close enough to know better.
So,
So, one more question, and then I'll give you the opportunity, like I give all my guests, to chat in specific about your business. But did you take anything from being part of that band? Because running a band, even if you're just a drummer, whatever, it's kind of like a business. Did you take any lessons from that over to when you started your Hans service? So I almost said hands, Handy Hans.
yep. No, other than, it's just more loving people and just meeting them where they're at, and uh, being in harmony, and just being respectful, uh, showing up, not causing trouble, and just yeah, showing up on time, not causing trouble, and rocking the house. If I could do those three things in my band, then I can do them in the business too.
I mean, I think you might want to add that to your website or your business cards. I think that's pretty
Well, instead of rocking the house, I guess it could be repair the house.
yeah.
Remodel.
Well, it is that time of the show. I will pass it on to you. You can tell people how to find you, how to hire you, where to find out more information, and I'm going to add stuff to the screen so they can see it there too. Floor is yours.
Thank you. Okay, so the probably easiest place is Facebook, Handy Hans LLC. Once you get there, then you can get to my website. I guess the website is fairly long because it's a Google site address, so you can't just whip it out. So it's email is a great way to get a hold of me, handyhansllc@gmail.com. Everybody's got Gmail, and I've got one too. So and then my phone number, I don't know if you're able to see that, 608-393-7515. Leave a message. Let me know when I can call you back. Yeah, if you're calling during the day, most likely it's going to take me a while to get the phone because I'm I'm doing a job or whatever it is. So, yeah, once I establish contact with you, you can pretty much guarantee you'll get to talk to me. So, you know,
He won't ghost you, is what he's saying.
I'm
He's
not going to
true to
ghost
the
you.
word. Well, it's been a pleasure, Hans. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
I'm excited to watch you grow and prosper, and I might have to hire you because Scott does not get around to doing much on my to-do
It's okay.
list.
We can keep him busy with stuff at school, you know.
Yeah, well, we'll see if he's watching, and then I'll know if he did, and he can give me a comment. But go ahead, check out Hans on Facebook. You can check out the logo that I helped create with his inspiration, and that's also on the Facebook page. But yeah, check him out if you need work. If you know of anybody that's looking for handyman services, he is ready and willing to take your phone call. Thanks so much. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank you,
We will be
Cindy.
back next week.
Peace.